Hello and welcome to Lumi's show where we discuss stories that touch the heart. What do we mean by stories that touch the heart? This simply refers to relationship challenges and how we overcome these challenges. And this includes every type of, human relationship, human interaction, human one-to-one interactions. And this is not limited to just boyfriend, girlfriend, husband and wife. This is quite wide and includes neighbors, co-workers, and government and its citizens. And talking about these different types of relationship other than husband and wife, I've got a very special guest who will be joining me on this program later on this program. I've got a special guest, and she's experienced and she's still experiencing a very unique relationship which she will talk about. But before that, we'll go to the topic of today, which is privacy in a relationship. Is it okay to keep some things private in your relationship? Is it okay for wife or husband or boyfriend or girlfriend to look at each other's phones, to have access to each other's bank account? What can you keep away from your boyfriend? What can you keep away from your wife? Or if at all you are allowed to keep certain things away. So joining me to iron this topic out, I have Kate. She'll be joining me to iron this topic out, and I also have with me Tina. And also, I have with me on the live stream, we also have with me Prosfina. So these are people that would come and they would talk about their own experiences and what they feel we should do if we have what they feel should go on with this kind of things. And I also have Sodi Ojewi on the program as well. But before they all come in, before they come in and talk, I just want them to say hello. So, Kate, can you say hello?
Hello.
Sodi.
Hello.
Mr. Muiwa. And we have Prosfina. Prosfina, can you hear us? Okay. Hello, Pros. Okay, I think we're experiencing the same thing. And we have Tina Sido. Hello, Tina. Hello. Can you give us a wave if you're hearing us? Okay, your mic. Can you unmute your mic, please? Okay, can you hear us now?
Can you hear me now? Hi.
Yes, I can hear you now. Okay, so the topic for today is...
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you perfectly well. So the topic we're talking about today is privacy in a relationship, as in what level of privacy should you apply in your relationship, if at all there should be privacy. And what we mean by privacy is, should boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, should they keep things away from their wives? Should they keep things away from their partners? So you guys are going to try and iron this out. But before we talk about that, I want us to watch this. It's 2 seconds video. I just want us to... So that is definitely a wife. I mean, that's definitely 2 partners. Like, he's seen his phone ringing and he had to rush out to pick it, so his partner, his wife or his girlfriend doesn't pick it up. So what do you guys have to say? I'll start with Tina. What's your take on that?
Okay. Privacy in any relationship, I often also refer to it as personal space. And I would say in any relationship at all, their own privacy. although there are no limits, there are no set limits to the level of which privacy should be in a relationship. I think that is involved in that relationship because individuals are different. For some people, they practically feel free to open up everything that comes to their head. And for some people, it's a no, they're protective and simply inclined to share some information with others. So it brings us to the fact that partners need to understand themselves perfectly well and set boundaries. Now, you have to agree with your partner as to which your phones can be checked, your messages should be read, you should pick your partner's message and calls and all that. And then respect those boundaries. Now we have to also it's important for us to remember that there's a difference between privacy and secrecy. Now, in secrecy, you are intentionally keeping information from your partner. This could be because you're preventing them from finding out certain things which could upset them. And for some, for privacy though, it's generally not hiding anything. Sometimes you're just unobservant, and sometimes we actually keep information from our partners for the benefit of that relationship. It's so for me, it's a yes. You shouldn't. There should be privacy in every relationship, but to a limit. You have to agree on what you want. Yeah. For now, that's all I can say.
Okay. So you are of the opinion that there should be some level of privacy in the relationship, and I would call on. I think my guest today is balanced. So I have two ladies, two guys. Let's hear from another. Let's hear a guy now. Let's hear from Sodi, Mister, aka actor number one. So Sodi, what have you got to say?
Hello, good evening. Yeah, to an extent, I've listened to Tedo. The key point is it's down to understanding. It depends on what works for. So what might work for couple A might also not work for couple B. Um, I also believe that cultural differences as well can affect what is expected. We live in a society where privacy is extremely important. I mean, when I say in a society, I mean talking about Scotland in particular. When you compare it to Asia, Africa, and other places, there might be slight differences. You have a situation where people can just walk up, knock on your door, and check on you, but we don't do that here. So so I think when you take that from the general society into the relationship, you'll see that there are differences in the way people operate within their relationships. I think Olumide and probably Katie and Muyiwa would agree with me that even when you live in a house with your partner, with your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, or wife, if a letter comes for you, your partner is not expected to open that letter. They'll, if at all, if it's important, they'll phone you and say, look, you're not home, but this letter has come for you. It says this on the back. Do you want me to open it for you, just in case it's something? So I think to a large extent, the wider society has an impact on what privacy looks like in different societies. And then when you bring it down, you narrow it down to relationships, then it is really important to know what each partner or what each relationship expects. So one relationship might say, "Oh, it's fine. We don't want any sort of looking into each other's business," and then another partner would say, "No, we are fine with it." So I think it's down to understanding, and that's the key point. It depends. There's no right or wrong way of doing it.
Okay, you're right. There's no right or wrong way to look at it. Let's hear from Kate now. Kate, what do you feel? What's your take on it? Sorry, hold on. It seems we can't hear you.
Hi, good
Yes.
evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Privacy in relationship. Wow, it's a very broad topic, or it's a very broad topic. But we'll see how we can handle the issues step by step. I will start by saying, in any relationship, you are entitled to your privacy. Be it relationship with your spouse, relationship with your family back at home, relationship with your brothers or sisters. In every relationship, you have the right to your privacy. You have the right to say what you want to say to your partner. You have the right to keep which you want to keep to yourself. And you have the right to, say, okay, this is for me. I just want this to be for me only and for me. And if we say privacy in relationship, we have two or so many kinds of relationship. I'm going to base it on two kinds of relationship. Are we talking about the marriage relationship or the boyfriend and girlfriend relationship? Let me start with the marriage relationship. In a marriage relationship, you will have to sit and talk about what you want to be private and what you want to be open. In a marriage relationship, of course, this part of the world where we are, banks, bills, there are some things you have to open up. There are some things you cannot keep to yourself. In the aspect of phones, reading of text message, reading of Facebook message, or those, you will have to come to agreements with your partner if you want to go ahead, or if you want to give the order, or you want to give the right for your partner to read your messages, or go through your phone. And you should know to an extent
Okay, okay.
where your
Let's hear Muyiwa's point, and then we'll come back to the marriage one. Let's hear what Muyiwa have to say before I would bring in the special guest for today to come and talk about our own unique relationship. So, Mr. Muyiwa, can we quickly hear your point?
Yeah. Good afternoon, everybody. Good evening, everybody. Yeah, I think Sodi and the two other girls, I think they have spoken already. I don't think as far as I'm concerned, and as far as from my own experience and things I've seen people went through, picking your partner's phone, checking your partner's email or stuff like that. I'm not in support of it, and I don't think it's good for any relationship, as far as I'm concerned, because he has the good, the ugly, and the. Because when you weigh the advantage and disadvantage, I believe the disadvantage is more to both parties, both the female and the male. So I won't advise anybody to go for it. Is your private, when you say your email, your WhatsApp, your anything, is your personal stuff. And when you're talking about bank account, you can have a family bank account, but you must have your own personal account, so that you won't say you want to call your husband before you spend any money when you're outside, or you want to call your wife, or when you get home, your wife will be questioning you. How do you spend 50,000 today? You understand? It can lead to a lot of things, so I won't support it.
Okay,
So
so the reason you're not supporting this is because you feel it will lead to a lot of things. But what of if it's, as Tina said earlier on, she said privacy and secrecy, because privacy can start bringing up secrecy and all that kind of thing. But before we iron that point out, I would like to bring in our guest, Michaela. Michaela is a singer, writer, and she's experienced this very, very rare type of relationship. It's quite very unique, and it's one that is very interesting and is touching as well, because and because of this relationship, she's written a book titled Star Child. And Star Child, Michaela Foster Marsh and her brother Frankie grew up as twins in Glasgow in the 60s, but only weeks apart. Michaela was white and her twin brother is black. which is very, very unusual in the 60s here in Glasgow. So we want her to come in and talk to us about this relationship and what her experience with her brother is and what has led her into writing this book and coming up here to talk to us. So I'll bring in Michaela, but before I bring in Michaela, there's something I want to play. It's about 2 minutes, so we'll watch this. But before that, if you're watching us live, don't forget to please share this live stream, share it now to be able to enter into draws where you could be picked for giveaways. There's loads of giveaways, there's cash prizes, and there's giveaways. We've got sponsors from TY Natural Soap, who will be giving us natural beauty soap. So remember to share this stream. And also we've been sponsored by Nigerians Home and Abroad. They'll be giving us t-shirts as well. So remember, just share this link to be able to qualify for those t-shirts. And there is also cash prizes to be given away. Plus, there is one of our sponsors, Boss Ladies here. She's giving away 20% on all types of human hair products on her website. I'll drop the website link below. So please, please, please share this link, share this live stream to be able to get into winning the cash prizes. So before that, I'll play this trailer.
I sure have.
God. Oh my God. This looks like me.
It is. That was your half brother. It was my brother. He was a happy boy, and when he died, 800 people came to his funeral. 800.
Once I'd gone and I'd seen the amount of need, I really decided it was time to start the charity.
It has been a journey that I could call nothing other than a miracle.
Yes, so I would be inviting our guest, Michaela, to come on and, tell us a little bit about, I think, Michaela, do you want, okay, yes, can you hear me now, yeah?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Thank you for joining us. And, we want you to talk about a little bit about this relationship because you've got a black brother, twin brother. How did that come about?
Yeah, it was very unusual, particularly at that time. Nobody'd ever heard of or seen this transracial adoption before. And my parents certainly did not set out to adopt a black child. They had wanted to adopt a child that was hard to place, meaning a child that perhaps had a disability or was an older child. And the adoption agency got back to my parents and said, well, we have a little black boy here who is now 13 months old, and he has been hard to place. Would you consider a black child, a coloured child? And my parents basically said, we really don't care what colour the child is as long as we feel that we bond with the child. And so within a year, Frankie became my twin brother. We were pushed around Glasgow in a twin pram. So it was very unusual.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's brilliant. So what was it like growing up with him as twin What was it like? Did you experience racism? Did you
Yeah.
what special memory could you, what was it like growing up with him in Glasgow back in the 60s where there's no a lot of, African people here?
I mean, for me as a child, it was normal. Frankie was just called my twin, and my first memory is of having Frankie side by side with me in a twin pram. And I wasn't consciously aware as an infant that Frankie was different, that he was a different color. I think for other people it was very unusual, but for me, like I say, my first memory is of Frankie. I don't think that it wasn't until we were in the bathtub together when we were about 5 years of age, and Frankie said to my mum, "If I scrub really hard, will I become white like Michaela?"
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, it's such a telling statement, Ollie. It really is. And even at 5 years of age, with my sensitivities, I could tell my brother, why does Frankie want to change the color of his skin? And my mum very quickly said, well, Frankie, your biological family came from Africa, and it's very hot in Africa, and that's why you're black, because of the melanin in your skin. And Michaela, she has freckles because we have to put sunscreen all over Michaela, or her freckle, she'll burn. And at that point in time, I realized Frankie was different, had a different family somewhere in Africa. And I became really fascinated by what sounded like this exotic country. And so that's where I think it all started then. At that point for me, I realized I did have a different brother who had a different skin color from me.
Okay,
But
I know you've got lots to say about that, but when you said as 5 years old, he asked that question like, if he really scrubs hard, would it be different? Something jumped at me there because I experienced that right now in my own house because when I had my first child, my daughter, we were Africans, we're black. We didn't say anything about any difference. We didn't say we're raising her up here. We didn't say anything, baby. Before they started talking, we didn't say anything that there's white color, there's black color. And then as soon as she started schooling, nursery, and all that kind of thing, that's when we realized they started having that, oh, I am black. Because we didn't sit them down to say you are a black child. I never did that. My wife never did that. So do you think these forces, there are external forces and do you think that's right? If there's external forces that makes an African child or a white child knows that, because if you put a baby together, there's no way they will know that you are black, I am white.
No, and that's what happened with Frankie and I. So that's what I'm saying. For me, it was perfectly normal because children don't see color.
Yep.
Like you're saying, racism is something that develops, that you realize, and Frankie obviously realized at that stage by 5, I'm a different color. And I think partly with him, he wanted to belong. And he saw us as white.
Yes,
so,
which
so that was a bit of an internal struggle for Frankie. Having.
So what's your favorite memory of him? What's your favorite memory of him? What did you guys share together that you feel you really love and still sticks with you?
Oh, his smile. He had such an infectious laugh and a smile. And his dancing, oh my goodness, he could dance. His dance moves were incredible. He could groove, And when we were older, we would go to nightclubs together and dance. And I miss that. I would still love to dance with Frankie. He was such a happy boy, And despite the fact that, you were asking about racism, we did suffer from racism. There's no doubt about that. But I also have to say that we experienced an awful lot of love and affection from people in Glasgow. And there are so many negative stories about racism out there at the moment. And I hope that my book shows a different side and that there are lots of really positive stories. I witness those every day in the work that I do with Star Child about racism, and unfortunately the media do cover a lot of the negative, and I have certainly lived through the negative stories, and some of them are in the book as well. Racism is very real, we know that, and thank goodness that it's being addressed at the moment. But I do feel that I do have to say that there was a lot of love. There was a lot of curiosity about Frankie, and when he was an infant, people, they would look at him, and my mum would say almost like he was a soft toy. And it was like going back to that time, people they hadn't seen it, so they wanted to touch his hair, his skin, just the same way that now when I'm in Africa, the children come up to me and they put their finger in their mouth and try and rub my freckles off, because African children haven't seen people with freckles and red hair, and they want to brush my hair because it's soft. And there's these cultural differences that we kind of take for granted. But when my mum brought Frankie home, she didn't know how to comb his hair. So she was looking at an Afro comb for the first time in her life. And now the kids look at my brush in my handbag and they've never seen a brush like that. So it's just, these were things that as a family, it was unusual, and we had to come to terms with that.
You're right that curiosity also drives why people ask questions, because I've also encountered that you see people coming up to you and asking you different things, like they want to know. So sometimes it's not racism on its own. Like myself personally, I don't even mind when someone asks me something or say stuff, or as long as what I dislike is when you deprive someone of what is qualified for because of his race. I think that is extreme. But when you ask someone like, oh, where are you from? You get asked that every time, and things like that. So what drove you to research Frankie's family and to write this book? Because I believe your research into Frankie's family is all in this book and what you discovered on that journey. But what drove you to do that?
It's a miraculous journey, I think. Well, Frankie, towards the end of Frankie's life, he died very tragically in a fire at the age of 27. And he had started to become curious about his African heritage and about his biological family. But before that, when we were young, my dad had sat us down and had said to Frankie, do you want to know anything about your African family? There's some information in this folder. And Frankie was very defensive. And he said, I don't want to know anything about them. They didn't want to know me. I don't want to know anything about Africa. I'm Scottish. You're my family. And I think at the age of 10, he was obviously frightened. I think he might have thought maybe if they find my family, I'll be sent back to a country that he couldn't identify with, because we loved him and he was our Frankie. So when he was younger, he really didn't want to know anything about his adoption, whereas I was so curious. And going back to the moment in the bathtub when my mum spoke about Africa, my imagination lit up. I started to imagine what Frankie's family were like, what Africa was like. So he was oddly incurious about his background, whereas all I wanted to do was embrace it and know about my brother's family. So when my parents had died and I inherited the paperwork, I had the folder sitting in front of me, and I feel that I was as nervous and as apprehensive as Frankie would have been, any biological child would have been, about to open a folder to find out information about their biological family, because there was a missing piece in me. That's how close Frankie and I were. We might have been different colours, but we were as close as any biological twin could be. And I was very nervous, but I needed to find out for myself as much as for Frankie where he came from. There was a piece missing in my life, in my own jigsaw. And then once I had uncovered some information, it was very, very limited, the information, because adoption was so cloaked in secrecy in those days. But once I had uncovered this woman, this Janet Wivugira, I went on this search, and that search is the book. It is just a remarkable story of synchronicity, coincidence, serendipity, the magic of the universe, basically. How I found Frankie's family 18 years after his death in a country of 43 million people defies belief. The law of probability would say that you could never find that family, but I did. And I think it also shows that there is a continuous thread that connects us even after death, and that bond was so strong.
Brilliant. And so why do you, now that you found Frankie and his family, why do you still keep going back to Uganda? What's the unfinished business? What's your interest now? Obviously, I want to know your real reason for going back to Uganda.
I'm a glutton for punishment. I don't know. I have a love-hate relationship with Uganda. I think initially when I went there, obviously I was overwhelmed because I found Frankie's family. I had a legitimate connection to this biological family of my brothers. But also I was so overwhelmed by the poverty that I saw. And any one of the children could have been Frankie. So that drew me back. I felt I had to try and do something. But Uganda, it has challenged me so much emotionally, physically, in every way possible. It has challenged me. It's pushed me outside of my comfort zone, and I just know that I feel there's a connection to Frankie when I'm there. Even although Frankie never set foot in Uganda, there is a part of his soul, his spirit is there, and his mother, the ancestral trail is there, and I feel connected to it. As I say, he was as close as any biological twin.
Sorry,
So
one question that just jumped at me now. How did Frankie get to Scotland?
His mother was a student here. When Uganda got independence in 1962, it sent a lot of its very bright students to Uganda, and she got pregnant. She was in Belfast and was studying there, and she fell pregnant in the late 60s. And from what we understand, she came over to Scotland in secrecy to have the child because she could not possibly get pregnant when the government were paying for her education. So that would have been a big no-no, and they had been told that if they were not allowed to get pregnant. So during her the holidays, Frankie was born in September, she came over here in secrecy and had Frankie, gave him up for adoption, and I think that was very traumatic for her. I don't believe she wanted to give him up, but so then she then returned to Belfast to complete her studies and returned to Uganda, having left Frankie in the care of the Church of Scotland, and he was placed into Tanker Hall Children's Home in Kilmarnock.
So this is a series of events that led to each other because she was on scholarship and because the Uganda government already put a clause that you can't get pregnant, but she got pregnant. Oh my goodness. Okay. And all these experiences, everything is in your book, is in the Star Child book.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to give it all away, but it was almost part detective story, trying to follow the trace of, you know, how do you find this? All I had was an unusual name to go on.
Okay, and this book can be found on Amazon, right?
That's probably the best place right now with all the closures, all the lockdowns.
I'm going to drop the link. I'm going to drop a link to be able to get this book. It's going to be in the comment section right now. I'll drop the link just right away, and you can get this book from Amazon. It's Star Child. Thank you very much, Michaela. I still believe you will still be please stay with us while we continue.
I can gate crash. Can I gate crash on your party about privacy and relationships?
Yes, it's not gate crashing. We actually want to hear. We want to hear everybody's opinion, because there's been loads and loads of opinions in the comment section, and I would like to quickly try and read that out, and then we'll bring the guests back in to talk to us about what they feel about privacy in relationships. So Esther on Facebook says it depends on someone's maturity. Some with low mentality takes issues too serious. Check your partner mentality before you share any privacy. And she stressed it. Oh. So, Priscilla, the key point is trust and understanding. I think what she means there is if you trust your partner, you can give them, access to, you guys can be opened. So I am I support her point. And okay, valid points. So which other point do we have? I love the point from Momitina talking about differentiating privacy from secrecy. Okay, I would bring in Sodi to see what he has to say with regards privacy in a relationship.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Okay, so first of all, I just want to say thank you very much for that talk about Frankie and everything you said. It's a very touching story. Thank you very much for sharing with us, and I'm definitely going to look for the book. So going back to Sedo's point about privacy and secrecy, there's a distinct line, and once you cross that line, then it becomes a problem. So you can have your privacy without being secretive. Now, but what are the things you can be secretive about? Now, are they things like your pay? Are we talking about very simple things like a text message that you got? Are we talking about your health? Or is it just something as little as the time you left work? Now, if you keep your phone and someone goes to pick up the phone, your partner goes to pick up the phone because it was ringing, and they have the password to the phone, and they stumbled upon a message, does it then mean I'm struggling with something here, and I'm going to come back to what I'm struggling with. The struggle I have is, at what point do you call something a secret, and at what point do you call it privacy? So for me, what I was thinking in my head is, whatever it is that you have decided within you not to disclose, that you believe that this should be kept to yourself alone, then that becomes a secret. But whatever it is that you've left in the open, so whether or not you have spoken about it, because it's possible that you might say, I didn't tell you, but it wasn't actually a secret. I wasn't keeping it from you. So whatever it is that you haven't said, but you have not deliberately prevented your partner from seeing, probably should not be considered a secret. So I was just trying to, first of all, hold on to that point, and then as we progress within in the discussion, then we can go back to talking about privacy in a relationship. I think Olumide, just to be sure, you wanted me to distinguish between secrecy and privacy. Is that right?
Well, yeah, you've done that, but I just wanted you to, at least say your own point, what you feel about should partners keep things private, or should they have access to each other? As in, should they have access to each other's
Yeah, so like we said at the start, it just depends. It depends on the understanding of the parties. If you have decided from start that you are happy for each other to check each other's phones, mails, then that's absolutely fine. So fine and good for you. But I personally, as a person, I believe that there should be a certain degree of privacy. So every human being should have a certain degree of privacy. And if you decide this level of privacy with your partner, it might be huge to some people, it might be little. But whatever you decide with your partner, then it can work for you. But I believe that there should be a level of a certain degree of privacy in any relationship.
So what you're saying now is a relationship, are we now supposed to say, okay, you know what? Now that we're boyfriend and girlfriend, or married husband and wife, or partners, civil partners living together, this is your own space. You can't look at my phone. Do you draw that at the start, or how do you get to this agreement that you are saying there should be some level of privacy? But I think you said that, and the other people as well said there should be some level of privacy. But I just want us to determine how to do to get to this level of privacy. But before you answer, let me bring in Michaela again to say something what she feels about this topic.
Nothing
I
like
would like
it
to
put
hear
on
your
the
own thoughts.
spot. Gosh, what do I think? I don't know. I mean, I value my autonomy and a level
I
of
like that word,
privacy.
autonomy.
I value that, but I think, like most people have said, I think it just depends on the relationship. If somebody was wanting to check my phone or my email, then I would think that they were very insecure in the relationship and were, suspecting something.
Yeah.
But if you feel secure with somebody, there shouldn't be any issue there. But I think you need some healthy privacy in a relationship. And if somebody was wanting to, look at your phone and things, especially early on in a relationship, I would say that was a definite sign of some insecurity and maybe a bit of controlling behavior, perhaps.
Oh, thank you very much, because this was our topic the last week. We were talking about controlling behavior and how to identify an unhealthy relationship, and you've just nailed those two together as if somebody is wanting to look into your phone. So thank you very much. That's brilliant. Let me add Muiwa to this point. I think he had some things to say earlier on. Mr. Muiwa.
Yeah, yeah. There is difference between secrecy and privacy. Total difference is 100% different. When you're saying secrecy, if you are married, you are a couple, and you are having a project that you are doing, probably you want to build a house or you want to buy a property, you don't need to hide it from your partner. The moment you hide it from your partner, that's secret. It's not more a privacy. But when you're talking of phone, my phone is my. You don't need to go near my phone. I don't need to go near your phone. It's not because we don't trust each other. It's because of a lot of things can go wrong. A lot of things can go wrong. You understand? A lot of things can go wrong, and it might not be because I won't even go near your phone. That is, if it's ringing, if you ring from now to next tomorrow, I won't go near your phone, and you don't need to get near my. But if you buy a property now, you don't tell me. That's a secret. It's not a. Or I'm planning to travel. If I live in abroad anyway, but if I live in Nigeria and I'm planning to travel abroad, I'm filing my application for visa, and I didn't tell my partner. That is secret. It's not a privacy any longer. So there's two different things. But in this, I don't see, except pastors, probably Babadeboye, all these pastors can do that, drop their phone. I don't think it's not because we don't trust each other, but at least we need some privacy in the house so that there will be peace in the house. Because the moment you drop your phone, you have access to my phone, you have access to my PIN number, you check my phone. You one day something will go wrong. It's not because I'm cheating on you or because you are cheating on me, but because something, and it will lead to something that you will know, okay, it's because you have known my PIN number, it's because, but that's why there's two different things: privacy, secrecy. As a relation, in a relationship, you don't need to keep any secret from anybody. If you are planning anything for family, for anything, you tell your partner, I'm doing this, I want to do this, I want to do this. But when it comes to my phone, that is not secret. It's my privacy. I need it. You understand? So that is it. Because the reason why I won't share my account number with my partner is so simple. Because it's not every time I want to do anything financial, I need to discuss with my partner. I want to give somebody money now. I need to tell my wife now when I get home, or my partner when I go home will ask me, how did you spend 50,000 yesterday? That's the question that is to me. It doesn't make any sense to me, and I won't ask you. So that
Well,
is, you understand?
this is becoming very, very thin, because earlier
You
on you
understand?
said when you buy a house, it's not secret. Now, when you want to
No, no,
spend
no, no,
money,
no,
that has
no,
now
no. What I'm
become.
saying,
Oh,
what I'm saying, what I'm saying.
hold
Hold
on,
on,
hold
hold
on,
on.
hold
Let
on,
me
hold
clarify
on.
it. If I want to
Hold on.
buy a house
Let me
now, I
bring
can't
in.
hide it from
Let
my
me bring
partner.
in. Wait. Let me bring in the person that even brought about this secrecy and privacy, because the topic is privacy. She now brought in secrecy. Tina, please explain to us what is secrecy. What is secret? I think once it's private, it's private. We shouldn't try and because we are using it. We are now using it to favor. When it favors you, you say it's privacy. When it doesn't favor you, you will say it's secrecy. So please, what is secrecy? What is privacy? Tina, Sido, yeah.
Okay, but really, Mr. Muyiwa has done, okay. All right, but really, Mr. Muyiwa has done justice talk already for me. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You can't hear me. Can you
I
hear
can
me
hear you.
now?
Yeah, I can hear you. You're fine.
Okay. All right. So I was saying that actually Mr. Muyiwa has done a very good explanation to the secrecy and the privacy stuff already. He has already explained. There are just some particular things that you don't need to keep to your partner, and when you do, it becomes secret. He gave an example of buying a house, buying a property, for instance. You can imagine you and your partner buying a property and then buying a property and hiding it for your partner. That's no longer privacy. That's secrecy, and it's not healthy at all. But when it comes to things like okay, so take for instance, let me use me as an example. I'm in a long distance relationship, and a while ago, I was with my boyfriend, and I had his phone with me. It happened I was using his phone to take pictures, and I could unlock his phone, but I never went to his messages, even when I had I could do that. I chose not to. That's me respecting his privacy. Do you understand? But
Okay.
I could have hidden behind to quickly go and check information. But at the end of the day, I'll be doing myself more harm.
More
That
harm.
wouldn't
That's
be
it.
nice to me.
That's
So
it.
why
Okay.
dig
Okay.
for
Okay.
something that
Okay.
will
As
harm me? Is unhealthy.
yeah, what I'm struggling with is when we start defining, because Muyoa said when he wants to give somebody money, that's privacy. That's no secret. But when he wants to buy a house or apply for visa to travel or to travel, make travel plans, that's secrecy. I just that's where I'm struggling with. But I think it's time we throw it open to the audience. We try and read what their comments are. They've been commenting since. I will just try and quickly look through some of the comments. I'll start with, I think some of them start with hello, hi, Eina saying hello. God's love saying hello from Facebook. We're saying hello back. Good evening, Mr. Olumide. God's love Kennedy. Good evening. How are you? And Patience, go back to church before I tell Pastor for you. Who's that? Hello everyone. Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Joel. Okay. I will jump through to where I think people have started talking. Okay, I think this is one for the Nigerian government and the Nigerian network providers. Our Nigerian network keeps slowing itself, so it's slow. Nigerian government, Nigerian network providers, please fix this. Good evening, everyone. Lol, Mr. Muiwa, please unmute yourself. I think that was earlier on. So we've displayed this, but I want us to read through this and then later on we'll talk about it. It depends on someone's maturity. Some people with low mentality. So I think that is applicable to Tina. Tina has got a good mentality by holding her boyfriend's phone but not going into it. Probably that is just for now. Maybe later on she will decide to go into it. We'll never know. Anyway, the key is trust, and someone says your point is valid, Tina, and I love that point. Mama Tina is trying to say difference between yes, sir. So the tradition has a point to play. Okay, so that is where culture. So is our culture saying you should be more open? Now let's bring that in. Let's bring that back. So is culture saying you should be? Is your culture saying you should be private or open?
Okay. I think we come from a culture that we like to cohabit and we like to be in everyone's business. Um, it's only in Nigeria that you'll probably, as a girl, you'll be walking on the road and you're dressed in a particular way, and someone will say to you, "Why are you dressed that way? Will you go back home and and change that clothes. You can't do it here. So I think
sorry to cut you, but you made a point there that I would like Michaela to, if she has experienced that. So this said it's only in Nigeria that you dress in a certain way, and someone will say, "Will you go back home, go and change to something more decent?" Have you experienced that in Uganda, and then how is it in Scotland with dressing and how some people approach you?
In Uganda, I've been thanked for the way I dress, because they've said that some British women dress like with too short clothes and things like that.
So it's similar to Nigeria as well. Uganda.
Yes, it's similar, and also I try to dress to go to events, whereas some people don't. Coming from here, going there, they go in their khakis and very casual. I like to dress well because I know that it's respected. It's part of the culture, is to be dressed well if you're going to visit somebody, to present yourself well. But I think that here, when I was younger, if I had gone out and worn something too short, somebody would have said to me in the family, or maybe a friend, you know, or a male friend or something, do you think you should really be wearing that? Maybe you should, you know, cover up a bit more. I think that I now look at some of the youth here and I think, my goodness, go home and put some clothes on.
But you don't tell them. You don't say, "Oh, go home." You just think that to yourself.
I just think it. I don't say it. But in Uganda, I think somebody would definitely tell you, like you say. I think.
Okay, then. Okay, we'll continue with the comments on Facebook, because I think that we're bombarded with it, and I want to try and round up as soon as possible. So we've got someone, thank goodness, she feels different, but I think we've influenced her thoughts. She says, honestly, it's good to be open to your partner. So partners, leave your phone. But before you do that, check he or her sense, because some gender sense, some sense no day. Okay, so going forward, Mr. Muyiwa, good to see you here again. Mr. Muyiwa, some of your friends. Yeah, so do you understand yourself before entrusting private issue? Most importantly, seek your partner's permission. Okay, so this is somebody explaining what I was asking, like, do you set this out? So probably that would be a topic for another day. So does that mean when you are in a relationship, you sit down, you guys are like, okay, now this is pen, this is paper. So A is my own, yeah? B is yours. Then C is where we can meet. Should we do that in relationships, or do you just let it flow? Like, what do you guys feel?
No, I don't think it's something that you set out at the beginning. It's like going into a relationship and you write your contract, and then everyone signs, and then you get a witness to also witness it, and you put a stamp on it as well. No, that's not. I don't think that's the way it should go. I think it's more the case that when you begin the relationship, over time, you begin to understand what each other considers to be private gradually. So say, for example, you have, if you notice that your partner likes to keep hold of their phone and they have a lock on it, and every time you've requested, they would take it from you, unlock the phone, and then give it to you instead of giving you the password, then automatically you kind of know that this person would rather keep their password private as it concerns the phone. So I think, without going into so many examples, I think gradually it's something that you build with time. Events and time will tell what each partner considers to be private, and how to respect it.
Brilliant. And I think we have another point. Alex is making himself very, very clear. He says, Alex David Ohini says, I strongly believe that there should be nothing private about partners. Even private parts are no longer private. So why should you now keep things private? Thank you very much, Mr. Alex. Well, moving on. You have right to spend some time alone and with only yourself. Okay, I think she's about spending time alone, getting into that mode where it's just yourself. It's all about you. You try and be selfish now. Privacy should be maintained in a relationship or marriage. Okay. Yes, I think I agree with you. You have the right to your privacy. Yes, right to privacy depends on your spouse. So privacy is important. Trust and understand is the key. I believe this boils down to your defining your relationship. You know when you have defined relationship, all this will have been tackled. Good evening. Oh, okay. Personally, I don't think there should be privacy in relationship. No need to be in a relationship if you don't trust the other person. Thank you very much, Ogo Ominyi Ella. Thank you very much. I think I'm seeing people on my own side as well. I feel there should be some, good extent of openness. But anyway, Samuiwa,
Yeah.
Muiwa, I support his good point. Muiwa, we'll start paying money to look at you in this show. There will always be privacy. What about your business account? Business account. I think business should be joint, shouldn't it? Business, if
No.
it's eh?
No.
But if you're in a
No.
relationship, especially
There's difference between relationship. There's difference between business.
Okay. So for me, I've got
Except
business.
if it's a family business. But if it's my own personal business, there's nothing like my partner or my wife need to know about my business.
Mr.
I
Muiwa,
can
it's like you have your own time when you make things suitable for you. I feel for me, I
It's not.
feel
No, my brother. I'm trying to let you understand one thing. Don't let us shy away from the truth. There is difference between your business and family business. If it's a family business, it's going to be open account. Everybody can go in. But the moment it's my business that I open my own business, it's my business. I don't need to. I can get home, maybe when I'm on the bed with my partner, I can discuss my business. Say, yesterday something we went for a meeting, blah blah. But not that she will have access to the board meeting or stuff. No. Because that is where the problem will start for. It's my own business. She will have her own business too. She doesn't even need to know what is the balance in my business. No.
okay. So the reason I'm saying this is because I feel once you're in a relationship, especially once you're married and you start a business, it's not a business you started before before you guys got married. I feel you should.
So can I ask
It's
you
for
one
better
question?
for worse. It should be
Are you
two of you.
no. Are you telling me I can't
No, no, no,
float
no.
a business? I can't float a business whereby I'm married without the concept of my wife, without maybe she's not our field, but that's my own field and that's my own passion. And she doesn't have that passion. So it's my own passion. Okay, like now I have passion for cars, to sell car. So I have a car business, an automobile business. And she's into photography or stuff. And I'm not interested in all those things. So it's my own business. Automobile is my business. So I will have my own way of running my business because she doesn't have passion for it. I don't need to disclose and say, okay, she will be a cold signature to sign check to do. No. It's my own business. And I will run it with my own experience, the way I have passion for it. I won't mix it. I can't mix family and business. No. I'm not
So
hiding anything for.
so what happens to what you guys signed for better for worse? Is this one of the reasons?
No, don't get it wrong. When we say for better, for worse, that is if anything goes wrong, I'm still with her. If she's sick, it's mine. If I'm sick, I'm yours.
Now,
But
I'm making your own laws, but anyway, I'm liking it. I like what you. I just
don't let us get it wrong. If you are telling me for better for worse, where do we pick the word for better for worse? We put it from the Bible. But when you look at the Bible very well, when he's talking about partner, he's talking about marriage, he's talking about wife and husband. He has laid it down. Everybody has got their own. You understand? We don't need to. If you mix things up, you want to destroy your marriage yourself. You can't mix things up. It's not as if probably I won't do the needful. I won't do the necessary thing I need to do in the house as an husband. And she will do what she needs to do in the house as a wife. But the issue is that trust. The moment there is trust, I don't need to interfere in her business. I can only advise her in her business. If she's going through problem, I will advise her, do this. If I'm going through challenge, I can discuss with her too. She will advise me. She can calm me down, rub my head.
Okay, let's go on. Let's go on. Let's quickly read through this comment. Let's try and read this. Communication is, after all, all the most important factors in maintaining relationship. Okay, communication, but that certainly does not mean you have to tell your partner everything. In fact, keeping a few thoughts to yourself can be beneficial at times, especially if they won't contribute to your relationship in a positive way. Okay, but these things have thin lines that are now crossed. But that's thank you very much, Goslow, for sharing that. In courtship, you can still maintain little privacies, but in marriage, there should be no privacy. Thank you very much for that. Privacy is secrecy. So I think this person, Ehi Nana, is against privacy, isn't it? She feels privacy is secrecy. I support Mr. Muiwa. From my own view, partners should not be going through each other's text messages and chats. As a guy, going through your wife's friend's chat will only give you, sir.
Olumide, let me tell you one thing. Let's be realistic with ourselves. No guy, especially guys on the street, women can accept it. Few. If you bring 100 women now, I can say 30 will say, okay, let's continue checking our phone. So it's better for you not to even go to something that you know you can't finish. It's a race.
Mr. Moyo, I disagree with you. So I back in the high school, I had a boyfriend who happened to have my Facebook account, and he used to go into my inbox and respond to, you know, all those guys now that will come up and say, hi, thanks for accepting my friend request, you are beautiful or something. He would just respond straight up and say, don't bother, I'm in a relationship. It was that bad. We had this issue up until that was the same thing that made the whole
We are saying the same thing. That's what I'm saying. You don't start what you
can
finish.
Guys can't do that. No, I didn't.
No. What I'm saying is that don't start what you can't finish. I didn't mean that guy did not go to your Facebook. You won't have issue with him. The moment you started it, the moment you started it, you can't finish it. Why did you start it in the first place? Why would the guy go to your inbox? That is what I'm saying. Don't start what you can't finish. It doesn't make any sense. You understand? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're saying the same thing. That's exactly what I'm saying. Don't start it at all.
Okay. While we're going on through the Facebook comments, I think, Kate, do you have any other point to add to this? Because you've been quiet for a while.
All right. The war in the house is becoming tougher. It's becoming very, very tough. What I would say is that the two basics about relationship is trust. It's trust and what will I say again? Trust and
understanding.
Communication.
Is it communication? There's the word that will be best for you, but when I remember, I'll say it.
The most important thing is that
if you trust your partner, what?
Yes. Understanding.
No, not understanding. There's a word that I wanted to say that but I'll remember it. If you trust your partner, you would entrust in their care to say, okay, you won't hurt me, you know what to do, you know the best thing for you to do. You won't want to go through their phones, you would want to go through their Facebook account. You're crying out, that's heart attack now. Why will you leave the joy you have and start going through somebody else's personal stuff?
What did you say that is? What did you say that is?
It's heart attack now.
Heart attack.
I don't know about you, but me, my peace of mind means a lot to me. My peace of mind means a whole lot to me. So anything that's going to bring me the other way, I don't want to know. You understand? So I trust you as a partner to say, okay, fine. You should be able to.
Okay, I want us to try and rush through this within the next 10 minutes, hopefully. It depends on how you both understand each other. I think that was the point Kate was making earlier on. But money, phone, salary, etc., their relationship will be perfect. While others, yeah. For me, Peter Petros, I think viewing partners' phones and messages should be a mutual consent or understanding. From Queen Faith Dali, yeah, there should be right to privacy in relationship to some extent. In the sense that what you don't see or hear does not really affect, unlike what you see or hear. And that privacy relationship helps individual to be self-developing. Private relationship brings about having right to your private account, chats, private movement, and all that. So that's what Miwa was saying if he needs to travel. But I think she's saying you should be able to keep that private. I don't really think it's good to go through your your partner's phone. Good evening. Actually, relationship blossoms better when there's trust, and to most people, trust means knowing about everything about you, your calls. Okay, this is a thin line between the point Sodi made last week, because when you start knowing everything about this, the
You can't know
person, is
everything.
that not? Yeah, you can't know everything.
You can't know. It's not possible. I don't even me. I don't. It's not possible now. Why will you know everything? Because me, I don't want to know everything.
All right.
I don't want to know what you call your mom or when you call your brothers.
Exactly.
You understand? I don't want to know what you discuss with your brother and your mom and your uncle.
All right.
It's none of my business, except you want me to know. You understand? Except you want me to know. If the time you want to give them money, I don't want to know. You understand? It's your own family issue. I don't want to block you. Even though you want to talk with your mom for 3 hours, I'm not interested. Except you call me, say, you this man, come and greet my mommy. Mommy, good morning, good afternoon. End of story.
So,
I go back.
what is the reason you don't want to know? Is it because you don't want them to know your own?
No, there's some things they want to talk about. He want to talk to her mom. He want to talk to her bro. You understand? I don't need to know, except if maybe she want to give them something now and she want to bring me. No problem. Have it. Give them. I don't need to see that when she was talking to her mom or her dad or her brother. There are some things they want to discuss about their family. I don't need to know everything. You understand? I don't need to know. I don't need to tell my wife now the time I gave my friend money outside. Do I need to tell her that I gave one of my old schoolmates 50,000? If we share the same bank account and she has access to my account, if I give my friend 50,000 outside, she will ask me, who did I give 50,000 to? It doesn't even make sense of me telling her I met Olumide on the road and I gave Olumide 50,000. Is that one a favor?
Please come and give me that 50,000. I'll make sure
I'll be your friend.
It doesn't make sense. Or Olumide will get home and we say, I give Muiwa 20,000. And telling it doesn't make any sense. That one is my own privacy. That's what I'm talking about, privacy and secrecy.
I think it all boils down to trust and honesty. Honesty was the word I was going to say. It all boils down to trust and honesty.
Kate.
If you have
when it comes to bank accounts, the moment I share my bank account with you, you know my balance sheet. You know, as at yesterday, I have so figure on my account. And when I was coming back home, 50,000 have left my account. You are a human being. We are all human beings. You will ask me. You might not say anything. You just keep quiet saying 50,000 in one day. Hey, Chineke. By the time I do that, but if it's my own private money, I spend it the way I want. But I won't let it affect my family. It's not every time I give people money or I enjoy with my friend that I need to discuss at home. That yesterday we spent 50,000, I spent 10,000. No.
But don't you think that your wife, your partner knows? Don't you think that if your wife or your partner knows and she tries to talk to you about those kind of things, don't you think it's also helping you personally? It's helping the business. It's helping the family finance. Don't you think? Because sometimes as a guy, you might.
Olumide, can I ask Kate or I ask Olumide? What is it? Can you give me definition of?
There's no secrecy here.
Can you give me definition of change? Do you think you can change me at this age, or I can change you except you decide to change?
Nobody can change anybody.
Nobody, you can't change me. I can see that thing that is bad. If I work now and make my money, I know it's my hard earning money. The moment I drop the necessary things at home, I should have my own private bank account. And she should have her own too. So whenever she wants to buy anything outside, or she wants to send something to her mom or to her cousin, or she wants to send money to her brother, I don't need to know. But the moment you have I know the bank account of our own, I know our own bank account, she knows my own. The moment money is going out, we are all human beings. Unnecessary question will not set in. Things will now be going on.
Lynn Campbell, he had a smile that would light up the room, and he had such a gentle soul. Okay.
That's Frankie.
That's Frankie. I guess that's much. So that was why I pulled that up. Yeah, that's Frankie. So that's someone that knows Frankie, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's
So
Lynn Campbell. Yeah, she
that
knew
she knows
Frankie very
Frankie.
well.
Yes, thank you very much, Lynn Campbell, for dropping
Very
that.
big part of Star Child is Lynn. Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you, Lynn. Thank you.
Thank
He
you.
did indeed have a smile that lit up a room and was
Oh,
a
wow.
gentle
And
soul.
you can even imagine our faces are lighting up just by reading that. Wow. Oh my goodness. I'm so, may soul continue to rest in peace. On a professional, oh my goodness, on a professional point of view, it's not right to view your partners. There's professional inside relationship. So this guy, so Peter Pirose is a professional. On a professional point of view, it's not right to view your partner's phones, messages, mails, and all that. This is to avoid the troubles that may arise from it, because most of the things you see in the mails or messages may not actually be what you're thinking. For example, see a message from a guy who is wooing your wife in her phone. She might not be dating the guy or interested, but because you just saw the message, you may conclude.
That's
This
so
is
right.
very brilliant, actually.
Olumide, can I ask Kate this question?
You want to
Something
ask
happened
it?
to my friend. Something happened to my friend, a very good friend of mine. This thing happened in Nigeria about a few years ago. This guy, he has a girlfriend that he was dating then. So we went out together. Everybody went out together. He now took some drinks. He's now tipsy. So he was trying to send text message to his girlfriend that meet me up in this hotel that we normally meet. He know the number offered. He now just send it and he just type the number. Unknowingly, mistakenly, the last number supposed to be, let me just give a sample, supposed to be 6. He now press 5. He now send it to a wrong number. When he now sent the text message to the wrong number, it was the husband. It was a man that checked the phone number. He now called. Say, are you the one disturbing my wife? You will die. The guy was saying, because the moment they called the number back, the guy say, hey, hello, baby. Are you there now? Are you there at the place? The man say, you will die. That is where problem. So we don't know what has happened in the other end. My friend have to off the phone. The following day, when he on the phone again, it was the same man calling. He had to throw that SIM card away. Meanwhile, it was a mistake from a different person. It's not an home video. It happened to my own friend. I even invite the guy to this program today, but he's at work. So the advantage is too is more than the disadvantage.
Okay, so the damage, the disadvantage.
This woman doesn't know this guy. They have never met before, but it was a mistake. Instead of him to press 6, he pressed 5 and he sent it. But because the man has access to the wife's phone,
because the man
we don't know
his wife's phone.
He checked. I think the man did not check the phone. It was the wife that we checked. Yeah. Even though the wife can call the attention of the husband, say, dear, look at you sending me this rubbish. You will know that. But it was the man that picked the phone. Hey, that is where everything. We don't know. That's what I'm saying. When you look at the we don't even know because we don't know the man.
Yeah.
Okay, going to Facebook now. Me, I am still on the opinion that once we both have nothing to hide, okay, there's a clause. Once we have nothing to hide. So when do we know when we have nothing to hide? When do you decide? These are people, you are trying to say, okay, this is my own, this is not your own. I think it's right to share your privacy with your lover. It helps deepens your relationship more. She's fine. Oh, this comment is for you, Michaela. He died, Frankie.
Yes.
Yes, unfortunately. Sorry,
27.
just for 1 minute. I know it was fire. How did that happen actually? How did that come about?
Yeah, it was the coldest night of the year. He should have been playing football, but the game got cancelled and he had gone in to meet some friends in the bar. I'm getting a big echo coming back here. Okay, hopefully it's okay now. And there was a power failure, so he had gone home, and obviously, when you switch your light on and off, you don't know whether sometimes it's on or off. And during the night, the electricity came back on, and there was a small heater, which was quite close to him. And the heater came on during the night, and it basically was on all night and started a fire. in the flat, and that was, it was just a fluke accident.
Oh my goodness. So is this your family house or just in his was he
Frankie had not long moved out of the family home, which is strange as well. He'd only moved out a few months previous, and he was in his own flat, and I had gone home and had just fallen asleep, had a few drinks with some friends. It was a Friday night, and the power came on during the night, and that was just an accident.
Okay,
It
okay,
just been
just
too
one quick
close.
question. You don't have to answer. If you don't want to answer, I'll just move on. Was there an inquiry into this? Was there any police inquiry? Was this investigated?
No. I mean, as usual, the fire department would be there to do their usual investigation. So, but there was nothing. No, there was no. I mean, it was.
And
Yeah,
have you
it
done,
was obvious from the fire department report that it had been a complete accident, that it had caught fire on the couch.
okay,
So
sorry about that. It's such a beautiful soul to have gone like that. So sorry.
it's a very traumatic
Frankie,
way
well,
to go.
and there's
Yeah.
another person. Rest in peace, Frankie. I don't know. Do you want me to keep showing things about Frankie, or do you
Yes,
want
it's nice that people remember him, or that they are honouring him. And we have the Star Child charity in memory of Frankie. We do a lot of wonderful work in Uganda. We have a school for the creative arts. We're setting up a holistic centre for children with disability. So we do a wonderful amount of work in memory of Frankie in Uganda. So his legacy is well and truly living on over there, which is wonderful testimony to Frankie's short life here, and again to our relationship with one another as siblings, as twins. We called each other twins, and so
okay,
now that I'm able
I'll
to
just be
do that.
flashing up comments about Frankie. Yep. So
Yeah. Thank you.
Fire on.
Thank you so much. So I hope they will read about Frankie, read about his life, about his mother and his family in Uganda, and the work that we're doing as a charity out there.
So this somebody says her love for her brother is very beautiful. Yes, it has taken her all the way to. You've never been to Uganda before until after his death, yeah?
Never, and Frankie never set foot there because he had been left in Scotland. So Uganda was completely alien to me, and it is a very different culture. So despite the fact that I grew up with a black brother, I knew nothing about Uganda at all. None of us knew anything about him or the family. So it was a learning curve for me to come to terms with the culture. But it's been beautiful, and to get to know another culture is challenging. It has its challenges, and I'm sure they find me challenging because I come at things from our point of view. So it's been finding that balance, and I think because we're determined to have a relationship with the family, and them with me, they call me their sister, I call them my brothers, but we come from different worlds. So it's required a lot of patience and understanding on both our parts to be able to come to terms with the differences that we have, despite that we're linked by their mother, who was the biological mother of my brother.
Okay, so you said something there. It takes a lot of understanding and patience, right? For that relationship. And I think today most of the comments talking about the relationship, about privacy, they've said understanding and patience, and trying to know each other better. And so that brings me to this point. I couldn't read it, but I'll bring it up. Table of contents: your right to privacy when you be honest. How to share a secret seeking helping honest with your spouse does not necessarily mean you must share every single thought, dream, fear, or fantasy with this person. In fact, honesty may be a double-edged sword in your marriage. Knowing what to share and what not to share is an important communication skill for couples to learn and use in their marriage. It may also be something that can help or hinder peace and harmony. Okay. Some of these comments, okay, it's still Frankie. All right, so It's been very wonderful, and I don't know. Does anybody have anything to hammer on in under 2 minutes? Should we bring in Sido? You're the one that brought about this privacy and secrecy. Anything else to add? Not really.
Talk about the finance part of it. So I feel that if the partner is paying the bills, then you don't necessarily need to know how much is in the accounts.
Sorry, come again. Come, sorry. I didn't quite get that. If your partner is
your
paying the bills,
partner is taking care of your bills already, then you don't necessarily need to know how much is in the account.
okay. So that is quite interesting. So anything else?
That word is for Nigeria. If your partner is paying your bills, because that one is connected with Africa.
Michaela, I see you're laughing there. What is this something you resonate? Is this something you
you understand what I'm talking about? You know, you everybody understand.
I find the society different. It's quite a patriarchal society still compared to our society. And I lock heads a few times with the men over there. Especially the bureaucratic ones that I'm trying to deal with when I'm trying to build a school. So I do find there are differences. There are differences in relationships that I have noticed. And also, frankly, the men there seem to be able to have lots of side dishes, as they like to call it in Uganda.
What did you say they call it?
They call it side dishes. Extramarital affairs. And they have a very polite name for it in Uganda. They call it their side dish. So I found that quite strange. So a lot of the men that I met in Uganda are quite open about the fact that they have other relationships going on outside of their marriage or their intended. So yeah, that was an eye-opener for me. I'm not saying it doesn't go on here in our society. I think it's just they're not as vocal about it.
It's just not as pronounced, but people are not bold to say they're doing this. Because
they're going to see their side dish, and I was like, "You're what?"
Because here women are the boss, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I think Kate has made a second point. Sodi, have you got anything else to add?
Yeah, just to conclude, really, it's so the question was privacy in a relationship, yes or no. I think basically we've seen that there is a line in the middle. So I don't know what we're going to call that line. We can't say it's a yes, we can't say it's a no. I think it's common sense and understanding, and then there are some things that you can be private about, and then there are other things that you shouldn't be private about, because then you cross the line and it becomes a secret or withholding information. So that's my take on it generally.
Okay, thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. I enjoyed the time we spent together. I really appreciate every one of you. Thank you very much, and thank you to everyone that's commented on Facebook, YouTube. Thank you so much, and we really appreciate it. But for you to win the giveaways and the cash prizes, you need to share this live stream, share it, and tag me, tag any of these guests, any of my awesome guests, tag them, and drop comments, keep commenting, and you stand a chance to win giveaways and cash prizes. And I want to say a big thank you to all that, everybody that sponsored this show, TY Natural Soap. Thank you very much. We say big thank you to Next Step Initiative and we say big thank you to Next Step Initiative and Comic Relief COVID-19 funds. Thank you very much. And we're saying a big thank you to all my guests who has made time to be here for the last hour and a half. And for every comment, thank you very much. And until next week. Before we go, I'm also saying big thank you to .av Comics. If you want your comic book, if you want to send your partner, your wife, your boyfriend, your husband, e-cards, e-video messages, just get in touch with .av Comic Books. I'll put a link to their website in comments below. So that's a link just dropped to their website in comments below. And we're saying big thank you to everybody. We'll see you next week. Thank you. God bless.